Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you another video. All right, so the Lakers got a game against the Charlotte Hornets tonight at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. And I want to get the injury report out the way early. First of all, we got all the usual suspects: Braun, AD, Vanderbilt, all game time decisions. Cam, game time decision. Of course, Gabe Vincent is going to be out with the surgery on the knee, from which I expect took place yesterday. I think he was supposed to have that on Tuesday. I'm not sure, but he's out for some time. The Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo is out. Gordon Hayward is out. Frank Ntilikina, of whom I just found out is on this team, is out. Mark Williams is a game time decision. And there was one more guy on that roster that is a game time decision as well. But that's really what's going on there. The Charlotte Hornets are a bad team on an 8-game losing streak. Point blank, period. If ever there was a trap game, this is that for the Los Angeles Lakers. Many people throw around the phrase trap game a lot. I don't agree with how it's used. This right here is a trap game. Why? Because you think you can walk in here and beat this hobbled bad basketball team, and you may take your foot off the gas, as to which you would be walking into a trap. That's why it's a trap game. You're walking into a trap. If for one reason or another you come in unfocused, you could drop a game like this to a team that's wounded and has nothing to lose and everything to gain from playing well on the Laker floor. Guys like Brandon Miller, Terry Rozier, again, Mark Williams, the center, Nick Richards, all of these guys would love to be Lakers. Okay, Brandon Miller is a young player who was drafted in the third overall, I believe it was, or second overall, rather, to this team, and has been dealing with ankle injuries left and right. In fact, he was the other guy on the injury report as a game-time decision. It's B. Miller. This young fella could shoot the three, dunk the ball. He can do all types of stuff, but he's been hobbled with injuries left and right. The thing about this Charlotte Hornets team is they do have some really good guys. They're a pretty solid basketball team, but I don't think they use that team correctly. I think that they just know how to do things the wrong way and continue to do things the wrong way. They drafted 1 million guards and don't play them. Talented guys that could one day be stars or one day be high-level starters. They're not developing them. They're not giving them any minutes. They just let them sit on their bench. And that's my problem with the Charlotte Hornets. James Bouknight, Nick Smith Jr., Amari Bailey don't play. They're playing guys like Ish Smith and some dude named McGowans, who's been doing pretty good. I guess he's another one of their young guards. But, like, you drafted guards who could be leading guards one day, and they're not getting off to a good start. Because not only did you draft them behind LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier, who are guys who are going to get 35 minutes a game, but you got them playing behind Ish Smith, the league's infamous journeyman who's been on at least 17 teams in his career, and some guy named McGowans that you likely got in the second round 2 or 3 years ago. This is a problem. Amari Bailey and Nick Smith should probably be getting 20 minutes a game. James Bouknight was somebody they drafted several years ago we know can fly out the gym and shoot a bunch of shots. Why won't you move on from these people, Charlotte? That's my thing. After doing homework on this team, your team sucks, you're on an 8-game loser streak, and you're not using your most talented players. When LaMelo is out, when Gordon Hayward is out, you're not using the young players that you drafted to be eventually your future. You're not using them. You're not sending them to the G League, with the exception of Amari Bailey, who I believe they have been sending to the G League. But these guys are just sitting there with talent while they're playing behind career role guys and guys that are not expected to be even close to as good as them. This is what is wrong with Charlotte to me. This is what is wrong with the league right now. And then these teams wonder why they suck so bad. It's because you move all your mediocre crap to the top of the list and run it to the ground to get mowed over. Stop doing this. So that's my message to the Charlotte Hornets, man. I cannot stand what I'm seeing. I can't stand it. Like, it's absolutely a pet peeve of mine to see stuff like this. Guys that I would have drafted are sitting on the back of a bad team's bench and they're losing streak when the players that they should otherwise be filling in for is out. You can't even get on the floor when these guys is out. It's just why Charlotte is Charlotte, man. It's why they suck so bad, y'all. And if we come in here and lose this game, It'll be one of the most embarrassing games of the season. Just like the San Antonio game, because this is exactly how bad this team is, man. They suck, bro. They lost by like 53 points to the Philadelphia 76ers about 5 games ago. They lost to a Kawhi-less Clipper team yesterday. They lost to the Denver Nuggets. They done lost to everybody, man. They have 7 wins on the season, and there should be no reason they come into our building and have any success. Even though I do like some of their talent, PJ Washington could go off. Don't think for 1 second PJ can't go for a bunch of stuff. He could fill up the box score up and down. You know, Mark Williams, big center. I'm a believer in Big Mark. Like I said, Brandon Miller's the truth. He's going to be an all-star one day if he develops properly in this godforsaken place. Terry Rozier can go off, even though he's been chucking up some shots in that last game. He had very low efficiency, too many attempts in my opinion. Miles Bridges is fresh back from his disciplinary circumstance. He's also a player who can really play both sides of the floor. So they have talent. Don't get it twisted. They're there. They just ain't using them. They're just not using them. You're going to probably see Smith on the floor for 25 minutes when they got like 3 or 4 guards behind them that need to be developed. Just bad. Just bad, man. So that's really my take on the Charlotte Hornets. I think this is a trap game for the Lakers because you could very easily walk in here, play to the level of the opponent, and give this team a victory. And given the fact that we've already lost to San Antonio this season, I wouldn't put it past us to lose to the Charlotte Hornets at home, especially the way we've been playing. You saw we played against Boston. We didn't come to play. You know, Braun only had like 15 points. Rui Hachimura attempted like 9 threes, 8 threes, missed all of them. And we didn't play well. So this should, in theory, be the game that we'd be like, all right, we can finally get back in the win column. And if you come in with that type of sigh attitude, you're going to get beat. Now, I think it's worth saying that Carcino is running around internet streets telling everybody that we got into some type of scrum with our team a couple days ago in one of the few shoot-arounds that we had. Once again, people going around telling the world that we ain't practicing very much, that Brown and AD don't scrimmage with the team, something that we've complained about on this channel. It's one of the reasons why we're not as good as we need to be. It ain't just because of the roster issues. It's because we don't practice enough to get used to the stuff that the team ultimately needs to do in real games. I keep saying this. I keep telling y'all. The team don't practice, the team ain't good. Carcino basically told us that Gabe Vincent wants the hell out of here. And it ain't because of anything other than the fact that we don't practice very much, and he's coming from Miami where they scrimmage and practice all the time. The discipline ain't there for the roster, man. And Carcino ain't the only one telling us this. I want my team to practice, man. I understand we have older players. I understand these guys got mileage. But it ain't about LeBron getting better in practice. It's about the guys around him getting used to him. That's why it's important for LeBron to be involved in these practices. It's not about LeBron refining his skills or nothing to learn. No, bro. It's the inverted version of that. These guys got to get used to you. And if you don't see the fruit in that, then your team ain't going to be no good, fam. That's it. You know what I mean? And it's far be it for me to tell LeBron James how to be a pro or anything like that. But if you want your team to not suck, bro, around you, you got to be out there scrimmaging with these guys, man. They can't just simulate you off the floor with somebody like Rui Hachimura. And then you come in and be yourself and think the game is going to look good. Nah, it ain't going to look good. You're going to be running stuff and they're going to be throwing it off the back of your head and all types of other stuff that's possible when guys don't scrimmage enough. I really think practice needs to be re-implemented, man. And nobody, and I mean nobody, should be too good to practice, fam. If you want to play, play. If you want to be a pro, do all it takes so that the team can be good, bro. Because we're running into teams that don't have these issues, and we find ourselves in circumstances where we're not as good as them. We're trying to implement new rotations. You got to practice these rotations so that they look good in real game situations. You can't use real game situations as practice, fam. And I do believe that's part of the reason why our team is, quote unquote, as I've always said, this season, average. Your talent without practice will leave you average because we're talented enough to get away with it. But getting away with it is not what the goal is. We need to be winning a championship. And I don't think we can beat teams that are practicing like crazy and running good stuff if we don't practice enough. So I have nothing but complaints, man. I'm not fond of what I saw on Christmas Day. I ain't really fond of what I've been seeing since the in-season tournament. We ain't played well, man. We only won 2 games since we won that championship. And honestly, I want to hear of my team practicing, man. I don't want to hear haters like Carcino, whose weak team is on a 27-game loser streak, but still talk about our team, having all this yap and jabber to say about my Lakers not practicing and having issues when they do. I don't want to hear that, fam. I'm just being honest with y'all. It's irritating to me. When we've had on this phone, I've had conversations with y'all about the Lakers practicing and needing to practice and how it translates to us losing games we have no business losing. And here we go again with more of that nonsense. Now, I don't know if his sources are telling the truth or not, but he's been pretty accurate with a lot of stuff over the last couple of years as I pay attention to him. And usually he ain't got nothing good to say about our team. And so that's something we need to do something about, man. I want my squad to care about the repetition of doing things the right way, man. And how that can translate to them just overall having a better pride about themselves on the basketball floor. I do not like purple and gold acting Hollywood, fam. You can't just go out there and just flash around and sit out there and just do whatever and then go into the practice gym when it's time to motivate oneself internally and give, not be there as a unit. What up with the Laker culture, man? We hear about Heat culture. We hear about all the Golden State culture, all these cultures, Celtic culture. Where are we at with our culture? Or are we just going out here taking advantage of the flashing lights, man? I wake up this morning on the wrong side of the bed because we just lost to our rivals, the Boston Celtics. And they just flat out look better than us. They ran better stuff. They ran circles around us. We didn't know our rotations. We damn near sucked out there. The best way I know how to describe it, we didn't look good. And Anthony Davis was fantastic. Taurean Prince hitting shots. But everybody else was just kind of 3 or 4 steps behind the Celtics. And that's what we running into. And I promise you, if this team practiced more, our plays would be sharper. We'd run a better zone. We switch out of that zone when we need to. We timeouts when we need to. It'd be better overall basketball management if this team would just pour a lot more of itself, a lot more, into off-game practices. And scrimmaging, actually scrimmaging, like they care about their profession. So that's really my attitude, man. On the wrong side of the bed. I look at Charlotte and I say, you guys are an abomination. Let go of some of them guards and send them to places where they can actually get the playing time they deserve, please. Stop hoarding guards who are talented and letting them dissolve into nothing on your bench. You're Charlotte. Okay? Give some of them guards to somebody else. You don't need all them damn guards. You know that. And so that's my attitude with the Charlotte Hornets. Make some trades, please. And for my Lakers, you just got to practice more, friends. We got to come into this game with an understanding that you could lose to any professional squad. San Antonio taught us that. You could lose to anybody. You are not so great. Any individual or any collection of talent on this team is so great that y'all can just by osmosis know where each other is going to be without practicing and stuff like that. You got to run the reps, man, together, not by yourself, not with some of us and others not. No, you got to know one another as a unit, or you're not going to know one another as a unit, redundantly speaking. When you get on that floor, you're going to look like you did against Boston. You're going to look like you did against some of these other teams that we've played as of late. And that is unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to y'all when y'all look in the mirror as a team. Especially when you got a banner speaking to how good you can be already up for this season. So that's my attitude, man. I don't know. Christmas just opened my eyes, and it ain't just about making trades and adjusting the roster. Whoever's on the team needs to be willing to run scrimmages, man. And not just treat these damn practice games, that are against teams like Charlotte as practice. Those are real games that count against your record, against your seeding, against whether or not you're going to have to play an elimination game in a play-in tournament, for which we are always in. And so that's my thing, man. I want Bron and AD to lead the ship, man. If y'all healthy enough to play in these damn games, put a little effort into them practices, bro, and be there and run, man. Don't feel you too great to run. Practice with this roster. You may be, but the team ain't, and they need to know you better. And that's something that I'm not afraid to say nothing to nobody. Y'all know me. I'm different in that way. I'll speak directly to power and say, yo, yeah, you the greatest, second greatest, whatever it is. But if the team sucks, they need to see you as many times as they need to see one another, man. On the floor. In reps. I ain't saying you got to run suicides to do push-ups, but damn it, when it come to them scrimmages and running these specific plays, it can't be Rui pretending to be you. It can't be Max Lewis pretending to be you, bro. It ain't going to work. It don't translate to you beating Luka the Don. It don't translate to you beating Joel Embiid. It don't translate to you beating OKC. It does not translate. So that's what I got to say to LeBron and anybody else on this team that is foregoing opportunities to get better. We got to get better as a team, man. And you got to set the culture that it's okay to put in that work. That nobody's too great to put in that work, man. Nobody. And so that's my attitude about this, man. I'm disappointed in what I heard last night. And so, at any rate, we got this Charlotte Hornet game coming up. I hope we come out and play our best ball. Obviously, there's some players, as I said, that are rumored to be interested in, well, players that we'd likely be interested in from the Charlotte Hornets. There's a few of them. Nick Richards is somebody to pay attention to. Terry Rozier is somebody to pay attention to. And I'm sure Gordon Hayward, I know he's not going to be out there. That's unfortunate because I would love to see how he's looking right now. But this is a team that you could see yourself doing a deal with. Obviously, their GM is our old GM. So we need to, be aware that that's somebody we can incorporate into a 3-team deal and maybe grab a Nick Richards. Maybe get lucky and get them to part ways with a Mark Williams. Maybe get lucky and get them to part ways with something that they don't want to. Like James Bouknight, the young fella that they're not using, a guard that we could very easily turn into something. Amari Bailey, a UCLA product that I would love to snatch from them. They ain't doing nothing with him. You see what I'm saying? I want to see these players. Maybe even Miles Bridges, even though I know his character's been in question, his game is not. This is somebody we need to see how they doing tonight. PJ Washington. I would love to have PJ on this squad. These are people that we can make better than Charlotte is allowing to be. They ain't gonna be nothing in Charlotte. They could win something with us. So let's scout these dudes tonight. See if we can do something with the Charlotte Hornets. That's what I want to do. So that's where my head is, man. We got to get better. And it doesn't start with making trades. It don't even start with firing people. It starts with doing more reps. Whatever you're running, run it more, man. And if you're not going to do that, for any other reason, if for any reason at all, know what the result will be of not practicing more. You're going to keep getting beat in games that you don't want to lose. It's just like anybody else that doesn't do stuff enough times. It's not gonna perform correctly. When it's time for you to show the real thing, your real thing ain't gonna be as good as it would have been if you would have did more reps. You know what I mean? That's it, man. I don't have anything else to say. We could do homework on the Charlotte Hornets. They lost everybody recently. That's what they do. They go out there, move the worst of that stuff to the front while LaMelo's out, and lose. That's what they do. Maybe they give Nick Smith a couple minutes. Maybe they give Bouknight a few minutes. Maybe they give Amari a few minutes. Maybe they give Leaky Black a few minutes. But the majority of the time, they're going to run stuff they ain't got no business running out there. And as a result, they lean on mediocrity and they're going to fail. Just like a lot of average teams or below average teams in this league. They don't develop properly. And that's what I think of the Charlotte Hornets, truly. And they draft well. But they ain't running the stuff they get. So, yeah, man, that's, it is what it is, man. I'm an unhappy Laker fan. I ain't pleased with what I'm seeing. My team is engaging in average behavior. And as a result of them performing average, they're unhappy. And they have to see a correlation between not doing more together and how that trickles down to them failing and then from there being unhappy. You got to put in the work. Work with one another. Go out there and take what you've worked on. out there and beat these teams you're supposed to beat, and then you can start having better synergy. It all connects. You know what I'm saying? It all connects. And so that's what we talking about on this channel, man. I don't know what everybody else gonna be talking about in regards to Charlotte, but I'm coming in with a certain level of chip on my shoulder as a Laker fan. Y'all just lost to the Celtics, man. I ain't really interested in celebrating any damn thing. You got to go out here and beat the Charlotte Hornets, because the next couple games ain't getting no easier. We got Minnesota coming up. We got the Pelicans in the back-to-back. We got the Miami Heat coming up. We got the Clippers twice coming up next year in January. This ain't going to be no easy stretch from here, man. This is the easiest, quote-unquote, easiest game you're going to have. And I think a lot of these guys tonight are going to be motivated because they play in Charlotte. And this is an opportunity for them to play in L.A. tonight and showcase who they actually are, where people are actually watching them. So expect for somebody, anybody, to go off tonight. That's what I got to say. Somebody going to want to go off. So be ready for that. But that's really it, man. Charlotte, I hope we're doing homework on this team. I certainly didn't, so I don't blame anybody for not necessarily waking up for this team, because that's what a trap game is all about. You thinking you can waltz in, do half homework, and then get beat. So hopefully our team is not doing that, especially with Brandon Miller, P.J. Washington on the floor, Terry Rozier. These guys are killers. If they were on different teams under better circumstances, they would be winning. That's that simple. The talent ain't lacking there. And so that's really the truth. They got some guys, man. Unfortunately, they're missing LaMelo Ball, so we don't get to see Melo unless they switch that up. Because from what I understand, a couple of days ago, he was a day-to-day, and he didn't play in the last game. So they could very well say he wants to play tonight. It wouldn't shock me at all. Everybody wants to play against us. So I don't expect to see him tonight, but if for some reason he does come back around and they say he's game time decision, I will not be surprised by that at all. He's home. So let that sink in, man. Be ready for him, even though we don't expect him to play. And so that's really what it is, man. Charlotte got a bunch of stuff that I want to take off of their team and put in situations that's going to ultimately succeed. And some of those players should be here with us, making our team better. And that's what I honestly think of them. Tonight they're going to be wearing their blues. We're going to be wearing our yellows on our home floor. Can you believe it? We're actually wearing yellow on a home floor? That's rare. But that's really what's happening out there. And that's it. Everybody should be more or less healthy except for Gabe Vincent. If anything changes, I'm pretty sure we'll know about it in a couple hours. But right now, our team should be fully healthy, man. As far as rotations and stuff like that, I don't know if Darvin's going to want to go away from that starting lineup that he tried against OKC and against the Boston Celtics. But what works against OKC doesn't work against Boston. I don't know why we thought that was going to work twice in a row. When you remove shooting from a basketball team, what you're left with is essentially nothing. Because that's what the Detroit Pistons are suffering from right now, is a lack of shooting and spacing. You need that. It's necessary to win this league. So I think we should try to shake some things around and try to make sure we have enough shooting in our starting lineup and in every lineup, just for the sake of spacing, man. So, that's really what I got to say about my team going up into this game, man. I expect P.J. Washington to have a nice game. I expect Terry Rozier to move forward and have a nice game. Brandon Miller's going to try to get in double digits tonight. That's Miles Bridges. Those are the main characters of this night, I think. And if they happen to shock me and play some of those young guards, do expect for their ceiling to be very high in a game like this. Coming to Staples Center, want to make a name for themselves. Don't be surprised by such. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.